What you gonna do for the whole world, Hulkamania? Destroy you!
I will give you a show like you have never, ever seen before. Why? Because I can.
Rest in the gates!
WrestleMania, Mania, on the floor. Never wrestled like we've never done before.
The best there is, the best there was, and the best that there ever.
And that's the bottom line, because Stone Cold sets it.
Hello, all. Welcome to Alyx's World, a safe space for wrestling fans like you. I am your host, Alyx, just Alyx, and this man to my right is someone that I've told before is the reason why I am a creator, a YouTube content creator, why I talk about wrestling, because it was his videos that got me started. And this is the first time where you can say the mega powers have combined, brother, to talk about WrestleMania. Please welcome GoodMicWork. What's up, man?
Alyx, it's so great to be here. I can't believe it took us, 11, 12 years, something like this, to actually do a collab. But we're here now to do it, talk about WrestleMania 39. Very happy to be here. It's a pleasure, my friend. And sorry it just took us so long to actually do this. And thank you for all the kind words. I didn't really realize I'm an inspiration to anybody, so that's very cool. And I appreciate that, man. You do good work over here, too. We've both been plugging away at this for the better part of a decade. And I think we've both done really well for ourselves. So hang our heads high. A couple of handsome devils over here talking about WrestleMania.
Yeah. I think we both started the same year, actually. I started in 2010. Is that when you started as well?
Yeah, 2010, but super casually. I mean, the first 2 years I'd disappear for 6 months at a time sometimes. So I didn't really get into it until probably 2012 is when I think I was, a little bit more, okay, let's take this a little bit more seriously. And then about 2015, I was like, okay, let's take it really seriously. So it felt like the first 5 years were kind of just throwaways. And then after that is when I really got pushing into it. But yeah, it's definitely been a long time. 2010 was when Shawn Michaels retired. That was a long time ago.
Jesus
yeah,
Christ.
we old.
Yeah, I'm feeling that age more and more every day passes by. But you know what, man? I'm always told that you're only as young as you think. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
All mindset. And you know what, man? In terms of WrestleMania 39, in terms of WrestleMania, I'm feeling it. I think in terms of this card, if we can get right into it, this has the potential, in my opinion, to be one of the best WrestleMania cards, at least on paper. In terms of the build, we might disagree on it. I kind of feel like it's been a little lackluster, but I do want to get your opinions on it first because you yourself said you're going to be there live. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how are we feeling about WrestleMania 39?
If I wasn't going to the show, I'd be feeling about a 6.5. I think the lineup and the build has been mediocre. There's a couple matches I'm really interested in. I'm super invested in Cody and Roman and Usos and Zayn and Owens, of course. But the rest of it lacks a little bit. I really want to see Rhea Ripley win the title, obviously, and a couple of other matches. But I think some of the build and the excitement and the overall just WrestleMania big match feel lineup is a little weaker than other years. But since I'm going, I'm a blast. It's going to be a blast. And I'm sure what I've noticed is I've been to shows where in the arena, I thought they were great. And then I get home, read the feedback, and it's bad. So I'm pretty sure that I'm going to have a blast either way in terms of my enthusiasm. I think I'm excited for this show, regardless of what the card is. But if I'm looking at this, logically, and I'm saying, well, if I'm sitting here at my house, I don't think this is one of the strongest WrestleMania cards they've had. But I also kind of think we felt that way last year, and look at the show we got. And it was really, really good. So I'm hoping for good things in LA, but I'm not totally sure.
I would like to give you another example. This feels more like WrestleMania 31, where the build-up to it was awful. I did not like the build-up to the card. I was not looking forward to Roman versus Brock. But then we got the show that we got. And, of course, the infamous ending of Seth Rollins cashing in made everyone go, holy crap, one of the best Manias we've seen. And you know what, man? We disagree on the fact that I think the card on paper, when you look at the matches, I feel like when it comes to the quality of the performances of the wrestlers, it's going to be a banger show. I am confident.
100%. There's no way it can't be with that lineup.
Yeah. And I feel like even though the build-up doesn't at all meet the quality of the performances we'll get, I think at the end of the day, we'll come out of this going, you know what? Especially if you're going live. Oh, that was an excellent a great experience for me. I'm happy I saw it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, and I think with maybe a part of this build too, I feel like the women's matches and the Brock match, that stuff lacking. But I really think those other big ones, the Ray and Doms and all of those, are really going to come through. That's why I kind of agree with you. How I still think this show is going to have a ton of bangers on it, and I do remember having similar feelings last year, and even being a little worried about how Kevin Owens and Stone Cold would do, and that turned out to be one of my favorite matches of all of 2022. So even though I'm not quite sure about this build and the fans' overall enthusiasm for it, I still think it's going to deliver and produce a really good show. Just talent's going to come through. It's going to be on them.
Amen.
Especially for those ones that lack stories. So,
oh, and that leads to two talent that aren't going to be on this show, unfortunately, and their names are Bobby Lashley and Bray Wyatt. So
Bobby Lashley will be on the show.
Oh, you're confident about that one?
Absolutely, he will.
Okay.
I don't think they're going to do him like that, man. It wasn't his fault. It wasn't his fault that this Bray Wyatt stuff happened. I say he wins the Battle Royal on Friday, comes out at Mania, demands a match, and Randy Orton comes out and fights him or something. I think that Lashley should just do something, segment, moment, or impromptu match. One of those three. Maybe not like a match, interfere in Brock and Omas. Do something. I think Lashley will show his face at WrestleMania in some form. Even if it's a passing backstage segment, that would suck. But I think that I just can't see Triple H saying, well, Bray Wyatt kiboshed us, so I guess you're SOL, Bobby. I just feel like they would shoehorn him in there, and they should. And I hope he finds his way in. I think he will. I'm confident.
Just to take something I heard from Solid Monster, he has predicted that LA Knight and Bobby Lashley will do an angle, some kind of angle during that Battle Royal on Friday, and they'll set up a match between those two at WrestleMania.
They should. Isn't WrestleMania named after LA Knight? Los Angeles Knight. Los Angeles Knight better be in Los Angeles for WrestleMania. I could see that too. That would be great because LA Knight deserves something to do at WrestleMania. Maybe not necessarily a big high profile match, but something. He's a personality. He's a great attraction. He can definitely do something entertaining on the show. What if he came out and called out Stone Cold and we did a passing of the torch and we turned the what chance into the yeah chance and the what chance disappeared forever? Why don't we do that?
That's a dream match.
It's going to be tough to pull off, but that would be cool. They go, what? Yeah, what?
Oh dude, wouldn't that be so damn cool? Man, I hope you're right. That's all I'm going to say. I would hate for two amazing talents, especially LA Knight right now, who is hot, extremely hot with the audience. I would hate for him not to get an opportunity at WrestleMania for some dumb reason. You know what I mean?
You brought up WrestleMania 31 a little while ago. Remember when they used to do those cool segments? They did that one with Rock and Ronda and had the impromptu match with Rowan. We didn't see any of that coming. They just threw that at us. I think 32, they did something similar with Shawn and Foley and Austin coming out, beating up whoever. So I feel like Knight or Lashley doing something like that would be kind of cool. Or if you could even tie it into a big return from a Randy Orton or somebody else that we haven't seen in a while.
That would be so dope.
I'm down for anything. I don't care.
Yeah, the other name that was left off was unfortunately Bray Wyatt. And I know I remember when he first returned and he had such good faith with the audience. That was one of the best returns, the biggest reactions. The way the White Rabbit was produced by WWE, all of that just had you going, this is going to be the run. This is it. Bray Wyatt is finally going to be able to have the run that we always felt he would have. I don't know how you feel about it, but I don't think it's lived up to the hype, man. And unfortunately, him not being on the show, I kind of feel like that might be a blessing in disguise because I have not been feeling what they've been doing with him. And
that's why I don't feel too horrible for Bobby Lashley in terms of him missing out, because as long as Triple H or WWE makes that right for him, this is a blessing in disguise. He wanted nothing to do with this. He was like, the third choice for Wyatt. They wanted Brock. They might have wanted somebody else. It ended up being like, well, let's just put them together. And that's not fun. If they have no, existing story and you're just going to try to create one out of thin air for no reason when you've already heard behind the scenes reports of different opponents being discussed for Bray. I tried my best to give it the benefit of the doubt. I tried to give his whole storyline, but they drugged their feet. I thought they had stuff well planned out and a plan creatively in place for him for WrestleMania. And when then all that started falling apart, and I'm like, wait, I thought he was going to feud with Uncle Howdy or have a match with himself or something crazy at WrestleMania. And it just seemed like they didn't know what they were doing with him. Now he's disappeared. And I think even if he had the match with Lashley at WrestleMania, how would you even book that? Wyatt goes over, obviously, or does he? Because he's had some issues now that he's back, or I don't even know how you would book it, and I don't even know how it would be exciting for the fans at all. It might even be like a Goldberg Brock match from WrestleMania 20, where the fans are just like, just get this match out of the ring. So I am really keeping my fingers crossed for Bobby Lashley. I just think they're going to do right by him. And I hope I'm not proven wrong, because he deserves to have a place on the show. This is a guy that held WWE title a couple times the last couple years. You're just not going to have him on WrestleMania?
I'm shocked we didn't do Bobby versus Brock. I know we've beaten that dead horse so many times now. I just do not understand the hype, especially the way their match at Chamber ended. You would have thought there would have been another match coming, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, the whole finish was set up to do another match, but I guess not. It was due to the fact that Brock didn't want to do the Bray thing, so they're going to put him with Omas. I'm like, why not just stick those guys in a fight pit or a cell and just blow that whole thing off? But I don't know. Maybe it's a creative issue with Brock. I was like, yeah, I'll do that, but I'm not going to lose. I don't know. Who knows? But we're getting Brock and Omas. We'll see.
I have my ideas of what happened, but we're gonna save that for another time, because more information will come out when the sale with WWE sale pending and stuff like that. I would hope that it's not the worst case scenario, and I think what that worst case scenario is.
Yep, I know.
But we're gonna keep it on WrestleMania, and we're gonna start with the match that we know is gonna be on night one, and that is John Cena versus Austin Theory. It's crazy, Greg, because if we was to have this collab 10 years ago, I feel like a conversation between me and you about John Cena would be a little bit more heated than it is now, because I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because I've seen him in other stuff outside of wrestling, like Fast or the Peacemaker franchise, the DC movie. I feel like now I see John Cena for what he is. And when people say he's one of the all-time greats, I don't tense up and want to be like, what are you talking about, Cena? Now I'm at the point now where I'm like, he's not for me, but I can see why a lot of people are saying he's one of the all-time greats. And I've never been the person to say he can't wrestle. I've always said he was a great wrestler. It's just my issue is that he's the greatest. He is the GOAT. He's better than this guy, this guy, this guy. And I've just gotten to a point in my life where I'm like, you know what? That's your opinion. That's cool. If you think he's great, that just speaks to who he is. And when it comes to Cena versus Austin Theory, clearly he's here to do his due diligence and help get over Austin. And this is very similar to when he buried Roman Reigns in 2017 on the microphone, but then gave him the victory at the pay-per-view. Same thing is going to happen here. I see Austin Theory getting the victory over John. But I don't know how I feel about Austin Theory right now as a talent. I see the potential, but is he someone that WWE should really put the train behind in the future? I don't know yet. It's still a little early, but how do you feel about this match going into it?
I think WWE might have already made that decision, which is why Austin Theory has this match with Cena, why they basically reset him after the Money in the Bank. And I think he is going to be a guy that they are going to attempt to make a big star. And I don't believe that Austin Theory is Rusev or Bray Wyatt in those other WrestleMania matches with John Cena. John Cena was full-time back then. You're right. 10 years ago, this match was happening. You'd be insisting that Theory should win. And I'd be like, oh, hold the phone. I mean, I don't know. Just the fact that he's in a match with John Cena is pretty good for him. He should be happy with that. But this is a different John Cena. What I said 10 years ago when everybody was freaking out about him is I said, you will all survive. And here we are. 2023, John Cena is virtually invisible from the wrestling business, and everything is just fine. We're still selling out stadium shows for WrestleMania. Everything is fine. The business that everybody thought John Cena would collapse because of his fruity pebblishness is fine. Nothing ever happened. He's over. He's done with. Everybody made it. You survived. You made it to the finish line. Breathe a sigh of relief. You don't really have to worry about him at this point if he should or win or lose a match. At this point, I think it's about building Theory. I would be way more unsure about this match if it was on night 2 or if they didn't go out of their way to tell us it was opening night 1. John Cena's got movies to make. He's going to be on a plane before match 2 is even out of the ring. That's my feeling on it. So I think the whole reason this match is opening WrestleMania is so Cena can come in, do his job, bounce out of there, get back to the movie set, and continue his other life and give a monster little boost here to Theory, who could also turn around with the utmost cockiness now that he's got to win over Cena and do an open challenge on night 2. Some people have thrown ideas out like that, and I like them, but I'm going to try not to overthink this match because the way it's being presented feels like it's really simple. It feels like what Brock would do. Let's get my match out of the way so I can go home. I hope I'm misreading this. It would be great if John Cena shocked the world and won the U.S. title and decided to be on TV for 2 months and have a program with Theory. I just don't think it's going to happen. So where we stand right now, I'm going Theory. I think he's going to win, beat John Cena, and Cena's going to take some more time off. But if they want to do Cena and Logan Paul at SummerSlam, it feels like, how are you just going to have Cena fly into WrestleMania, take a clean loss, and leave? It can't be that simple, can it? But it might be, and it might be. And if Theory is able to get that, that's going to be a nice boost for him. It's something he'll talk about, brag about. It'll be the Jericho, Rock, and Austin thing. He'll talk about it for 20 years. And if he does become champion, or if he does make it to major levels, he will look back at that match as, probably one of the biggest nights of his life. But I'm picking Theory right now, unless I change my mind.
And before I go on to the next match, I want to point out this comment from UltraShaw97, because you said, I remember a commentary some time ago, maybe years ago, where you said eventually John Cena is not going to be full time. And when that happens, you are all going to miss him. And there's a lot of people here in the live chat saying just that statement. I miss John Cena being a full time wrestler. Yeah. Do you feel vindicated in a way when you finally see fans, I guess, turning a corner on John Cena? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I do, but I've also been saying that. Like, I always knew I would be, because I've already seen this process play out before with other people that fans don't like, and then they get over it. And that's all that was going on here with John Cena. And then we saw it again with Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns almost went through it worse. Oh my God, the hate that guy got. Most fans, regardless of where you stand on any issues, believe Roman Reigns is the top of the wrestling world. And it's not really that debated anymore. Nobody's out here screaming how bad Roman Reigns sucks. Everybody gets over it. And I knew that once Cena was just not as heavily featured and focused, it would be much easier to tolerate.
And here we are, man. And you know what? I'm happy he's doing his due diligence and putting over talent. But that leads us into the next match, which, I gotta be honest with you, man, as much as I do not like Logan Paul, and I can give you hours upon hours of reasons why personally, this might end up being one of the best matches of the entire weekend because of who's in it. Seth Rollins, Logan Paul. I expect this to be an absolute banger. And as someone who doesn't want to give any credit to Logan Paul, this is easily going to be a match that people will remember. And I'm very curious to know where you sit and who you think is going to win.
It's got to be Seth, I think. I mean, I think the poor guy did jobs all last year. And to now have him come in WrestleMania and do it to this whack-off, I'd be blown away. Now, Logan, I agree with you. This match is going to be great, and we know that because of what we've seen from Logan Paul. Dude's going to go all out. So is Seth. There might even be a little bit of a one-upsmanship on who can top each other in this match. I mean, Seth even went nuts. Seth and Owens went nuts in the Performance Center WrestleMania match. So Seth is definitely capable of, giving us some sort of magnificent moment here, but then so is Logan Paul. I think this match could be better than Logan and Roman as well, just because of Seth's athleticism. So I think it's going to be good. I'm agreeing with you that it's going to be a great match. Not sure if it's going to be a show-stealing match, but I think it's going to give us lots of moments, and Logan Paul's going to do something insane at least once in this match. But at the end of the day, I got to go with Rollins, man. And plus, I don't think, based on the build, we've seen Rollins get knocked out 2 weeks in a row. I thought that kind of surprised me, but that also gave me a little bit of comfort to know that if they're going to humiliate Seth on TV, he's going to get the win at the pay-per-view. So I'm going Rollins. I think it should be Rollins. You could do a wonky finish where Logan can come back and then still set up a match with Cena or something if you wanted to. But in terms of who's getting their hand raised, I hate being the fan that says, oh, so-and-so deserves this, but Seth deserves it. Seth did a lot for Cody. If Cody goes on to win the title, Seth is going to be a big part of, how he got there, in that great, that program he worked with him last year, kind of like Triple H and Batista, that trio of matches. So I'm rewarding Rollins with a WrestleMania win here, and I'm putting the belt on him in the next year.
Oh, wow. Absolutely. And you know what? I 100% agree with you. And I'm going to keep it short and sweet. Seth Rollins has not won a WrestleMania match since 2019. And,
he's way overdue.
But like you said, I thought 2022 was an exceptional year for Seth Rollins, not just with Cody, but with, oh my God, Matt Riddle, the stuff with the United States Championship. All of his matches were bangers, and he has more than earned at least one victory, one moment at WrestleMania. And I think beating Logan Paul is going to shoot him into that stratosphere to potentially be a world champion. I could see Seth Rollins fighting Cody Rhodes. That's got to happen, first off. And if they ever wanted to do that at like a Backlash or whatever, I would definitely be here for it, because I think those two would tear it down again. You know what I mean?
And I think Cody would have no problem passing that belt to him after everything that Seth did, in their previous matches and stuff. And that would be a really good full circle, because eventually Seth's going to have to beat Cody at some point in the future. Even if it's 2 years from now, but yeah, a title match, you book that in the main event of Money in the Bank in London. Oh man, that would be fun. But yeah, I'm going Seth, and I think he needs to have a big 2023, and he can, and the deal with Logan and can be so fun. They can try to outdouche each other, because they're both obnoxious. And even though Seth is a babyface now, it's going to be nice to see him put down Logan Paul and then come out on Raw the next night and have fun things to say about it. So I'm rooting for Seth. Not only do I want him to win, and I think he should win, I'm cheering for him as well. So,
well, we get to talk about your favorite match next, and that, my friends,
yes,
just fucking with you.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, the match that screams Vince McMahon. We're talking about the immovable object, ladies and gentlemen, versus the what was it again? It was the immovable object versus
irresistible force.
The irresistible force.
A movable object. It's a monsoonism. This is it's to be a good time for a hot dog. I don't know what to. I mean, are we allowed to predict this in the framework of if Brock is leaving or not? Like because if he's going to be taking time off, like some of those rumblings are going around, you got to put over Omas. You have to. God. You have to. That's the whole reason why you make this match. A lot of fans who think it doesn't make sense. I'm like, well, in the world, in pro wrestling, it makes sense. You got a big new monster. Use somebody that's got not a lot of name value to get him over. It's just, this is a very crazy name. And I can't believe if Brock was actually presented with opponents and he's like, I'll lose to Omas. Is he really going to say that? But if he's going to be leaving, you got to put him. I mean, they're giving Omas another WrestleMania match. It's not our choice. We're not choosing to put Omas in these matches. WWE is. They clearly want to do something with him, and they're going to make it happen. So I think if that's what their plan is, even though we might not like that plan, if the plan is to make Omas a big deal, he's got to beat Brock Lesnar. But then again, the F5 for all to see is going to be quite the moment as well. So I think it depends on what Brock's future is. If he's going to come back and work SummerSlam and stick around for another year or so, part-time, Brock goes over. If Brock is a free agent in 3 weeks, then Omas wins. But I don't know. What do you think?
It's frustrating that you say that, because there are people, even in the live chat, that agree with you, that people who are hating on Omas or what is it called? Homophobia. Who's
homophobic?
Look here, man.
I'm pro homo.
I've never been the biggest fan
promo
of this guy, Omas. It's just not it for me. And I've been saying it on Twitter. Every time he's on TV, I just go, Omas ain't it. He's just not. And I get the appeal, big guy over 7 feet tall. And that is great for the spectacle of professional wrestling. It's been that way for decades. I'm not going to hate on that. I just look at this match and I go, we could have done something so much better with Brock. Anything. I know we can't do Bray, probably for good reason. Could have done Bobby. Could have done something else with him.
Should have done Bobby. That's the match that they should have done. I don't know what the hell they're thinking here. So this is ridiculous. It should have been Bobby.
You know what? Let's just keep it simple and sweet. Brock picks him up, F5, 3 minutes, we're out. Get you a bathroom break. Go get you something to drink. By the time you get back, we done, we out. And hopefully that's the end of it, because I can't. But you know what? You might be right. I didn't really think about Brock actually leaving. I just feel like if there's money on the table, Brock ain't going nowhere. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Yeah.
So, and are they doing a contract signing with this, or have they? Or is there something going on tonight with these guys?
Yeah, they're doing a weigh-in. Oh,
weigh-in. That's right. A weigh-in. I forgot they're going to do the weigh-in. So again, it's like it's the babyface heel math. It depends on what happens in this. If Omas dismantles Brock again, and I know last week was kind of a botch, or whatever week they tried to throw Brock over the top rope. If they do something like that again, where Brock's annihilated at the hands of Omas, you guys come back together at WrestleMania, then I think Brock is going to beat him. But if Brock kicks the shit out of Omas tonight in the weigh-in, then, maybe that could be telling. I'm going to go with you, though, just because even though I agree with you on Omas, like, he's not my favorite either. He's not that entertaining for me to watch. It's how WWE feels about him. They think he's a big deal. They might think he might be attractive to the casual scrolling through the channel's viewer who stops and sees this 9-foot-tall dude in the ring. What the hell is that? I think that's WWE's, thought process on Omas, is they want him to be, this big, giant monster that's in the ring from time to time that can kind of dazzle people, where the hardcores don't really like to see that, because we pick apart the ring work and the promos and the, in the matches and the stories and stuff like that. But to a regular casual viewer, that wonderful phrase that's thrown out so much, I think Omas to WWE is somebody that they can feature as a big attraction. And it's how WWE's feeling about him, how I kind of determine my predictions most of the time, not how I feel. Like, if it's up to me, it's an F5 and Brock is in the shower in 6 seconds. But if it's up to WWE, that might be a completely different story. And in their minds, they might say, let's, but what, even if Omas goes over here, what are they going to do? Put him in there with Cody?
Oh God!
It would be a lot like when Cena faced Great Khali, and is that the best use of Cena's talent? And is it the best use of Cody's talent? To try to squeeze a good match out of this guy, or to just get him over enough to justify a title shot, and to give Cody a monster to. He'll never cross Rhodes, that guy. The more and more the more and more I talk out loud about this, I kind of think it's going to be Brock. So I'm going Brock.
Let's stay with Brock, because I was getting kind of scared there, because I'm like, he's making too much sense. Let's end it here before he starts to convince me to change my mind. But the next match, I think we can both agree, not only will this be a banger, this is going to be an absolute banger. I also believe, without question, this might be the absolute best I see Intercontinental Championship match I've seen since Piper versus Brett, maybe even before that. This is going to be an amazing showcase for that IC title, because we got Gunther, Drew McIntyre, and Sheamus in a triple threat match. I'm going to throw it right over to you, Greg. What are you feeling about this match?
I would really like to see Sheamus win the Intercontinental title. He's never won it. I kind of thought months ago they were just going to do Gunther and Sheamus one-on-one, and Sheamus would get the final win after a couple of losses to Gunther and win the title. But then they put McIntyre in there. I'd also like to see McIntyre carry the Intercontinental title, because I like McIntyre. I'd like to see Sheamus hold it, because Sheamus is awesome. But then I did the math on how long it's going to take Gunther to break Honky Tonk Man's record, and he can do that in September. And if they are ever going to have Honky's record broken, I don't see how you have a better opportunity to do it than Gunther. Because if they don't do it with Gunther, I'm just going to assume WWE never wants that record to be broken, because you're not going to have another guy this dominant, this great. So I would like to see Gunther retain, make it to September 8th, 9th, whatever it is, break Honky's record. Then you can have him drop the title to whoever, then go into War Games, have a great performance in War Games, then go into the Rumble and win it, and then win the title at next year's WrestleMania. That's the path I'd like to see Gunther go on. But it's a triple threat. So if you want to get the belt off of Gunther while still protecting him and moving him on to maybe Money in the Bank or title shots at SummerSlam or whatever, then you got an opportunity just to have Sheamus or Drew pinned and get the title off of him. So I am super torn on this one. I'm just very, very pro Gunther right now. So I'm going to go Gunther. But my heart is with Sheamus, but I really want to see Gunther break Honky Tonk Man's Intercontinental record. That's been bugging me since I've been 11 years old, and I'd like to see that go away.
For me, if Sheamus is going to be Gunther, it needs to be one-on-one. I don't feel him winning in this match, and that's why. I'm gonna go ahead and agree with you. I think Gunther's going to retain. I would love for him to break Honky Tonk's record. You said September, right? So, you know what? I mean,
it's not that far.
It's not that far. My idea was to get Gunther ready to fight Cody for the world title. That was my idea. And if that's going to happen, he would have to drop the belt either here or sometime in the future. But if we're that close,
did they tease that in the Rumble? Cody and Gunther?
Well, yeah, they were the final. They were the final two.
Final two. That's right. Yeah. So that's right. They were the final two. Yeah. So you're right. You could be right. Cody and Gunther for the title.
Oh man, I don't know. This is gonna be hard. I'm picking Gunther to win, but we're talking more about now. Should he end the Honky Tonk Man's record? You know, I don't know. That's the only thing Honky Tonk Man has now. We take that away from him. What's he going to have? I don't know.
It might not even be on WWE's radar. It was just something I was thinking about. WWE might not even be thinking in terms of that record with Gunther. But if they are, if somebody brings it up, you could say, hey, yo, Triple H, he's only 4 or 5 months away from this. When are we ever going to have an opportunity to do this? You know?
Yeah.
But I wouldn't want that to change, you know, if they did have plans up until this point to go with Sheamus. And then somebody brings that up. He's like, oh, yeah, let's keep going with Gunther. And then Sheamus gets screwed. It's just, I think that's what I want to see. I just like to see the record broken. But I think like you, we're both in a pretty good position in this match. I'm pretty much going to be happy with whoever walks out with the title here. You got Gunther's in there with 2 former world heavyweight champions. So that's kind of a nice feather in his cap to be 2 of them at once to retain his title. But either guy winning the IC would be completely justified because they both deserve it. Poor Drew still needs to get that Mania championship victory of some kind after what he got robbed from. So I like all 3 guys. I'm happy with whoever walks out with golden wastes.
Same here, man. Let's get this match out the way. This is the one of the showcase fatal 4-way tag matches. This one's for the men. Braun Strowman, Ricochet taking on Street Profits, taking on Chad Gable and Otis. And then, of course, the Viking Raiders. I don't know how you feel about this match. It's just one of those filler matches just to get people on the card. I don't even know exactly who I would go with. I'm just picking Alpha Academy because I'm a big fan of Chad Gable. I think he's the MVP of Raw right now, and he deserves a run for those tag team titles, or at least a shot at the tag team titles. Mm-hmm. Other than him, I'm beyond done. And I'm not saying the Street Profits are boring or just, played out. I am ready for Montez Ford to be a main event player. He is that guy. I feel like if they let him loose and he's able to be himself in the main event scene, he is going to be someone special. So I'm looking past this match with a future in terms of Montez Ford. But how do you feel about this?
Well, after last night, when I knew we were going to do this, I spent about 30 minutes thinking about this match. I made a few pie charts and graphs and really tried to break down the statistics of all 8 of these men to really determine who I think is the best team to win here. And what I came up with is that I don't give a shit.
Saw that coming.
But no, I joke. You know what? I'm going to take some of your advice here, and I'm going to go Street Profits because does the winner of this get a tag team title shot? Is that the deal?
They didn't even announce that. I'm assuming.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a showcase. Okay. I'm thinking maybe there's a title shot on the line. So if you go Street Profits, they can have a nice moment and the fans get the music and the solo cups and the whole deal. And Montez maybe really is highlighted heavily here. Maybe he wins the match for the team, right? That gives him a title shot on TV against new tag team champions, Owens and Sami Zayn, maybe 2 weeks on Raw or whatever. You do the match, Owens and Zayn win. Maybe there's a miscommunication with the Street Profits, and then that's when you do the turn after the match. Owens and Zayn walk away celebrating. Montez is mad at Dawkins. He turns on him, boom, and then you can move on Montez. But that means he's a heel, and that might not work. It might have to be Dawkins turning on him. But maybe if you have Street Profits win here that leads to something else on TV that moves them into their split, whether it's an amicable split, because Dawkins, I don't want to see him be Genetti'd. He's too talented. Montez has got too much charisma to maybe be a heel right now. You might want to start him as a babyface and then have him go heel later. So maybe it could be you could actually have one of those splits where the team, like the Hart Foundation did, Brett and Jim stayed on good terms when they split and just wished each other luck and let's give it a go here. But if this is somehow leading to a Montez singles run like you talked about, then I would go Street Profits for this one because either other team, I don't know if it would be Alpha Academy because Otis, isn't he turning on Chad? Maybe
that's the story.
What's her face comes down to the ring and he goes away with her and then leaves poor Gable in the ring to get murdered by himself. Who knows? Something like that. I'm gonna go Street Profits. Street Profits.
This is going to be an interesting match for sure. But that's one of those matches I was just like, all right, it happened. So let's get done with it. This one I'm a little bit more interested in. This is the six-way. This is the 6-woman tag match. Damage Control, everyone's favorite group that's so dominant and gets every win that they've ever been a part of. Not really. Lita, Trish, and Becky Lynch. Oh my God. Look, I have heard so many theories about this being a setup for a potential Becky Lynch versus Trish Stratus feud down the line. And holy shit, I would love that. I do not think if they're going to do that, for the record, this would be the match to do it in. Maybe they can find a way to set up an eventual turn for Trish down the line with this match. But I'm going to keep it simple. Damage Control are jobbers. Sorry, I love all three of them. I love Dakota Kai, Io, and Bayley. But the way they've been booked, look, it's just not a team that I would see as a dominant stable. And you got literally three of the biggest female stars to ever walk WWE, arguably. There's no way they're losing. There's just no way. So Becky, Trish, Lita get the victory. And that's what I'll say about that. The match will probably be good. How do you feel about it?
Pretty much the same way. I think the baby faces in this situation would have to win unless there is some sort of storyline turn here. So if they're going to do a Becky and a Trish, because Trish got to work with Charlotte, so maybe they're going to let Becky do it too. And you have Becky and Trish at SummerSlam. Maybe they'll try to outdo what Charlotte and Trish did a couple years ago. And if you use this match to begin that process, then I think you could give Damage Control the win. Two of these ladies are tag team champions, which is weird. It's Lita and Becky. Trish is on the outside. So I'm more confused about this match than anything. I almost don't get it because it just seems like this is something you could do on Monday Night Raw. So why this match could just main event, or this could be on the second hour of Monday Night Raw, not WrestleMania. So if you did this, it just feels like it's feel good. Babyface gets the victory over the heel jobbers match and nothing else to it. And is that really it? I mean, you could lose, the babyfaces could lose, titles aren't on the line. So, gosh, yeah, I'm going to have to go. It's hard to pick the heels when you're looking at the three women they're up against. So I'm going to go Lynch, Lita, and Trish as well.
It's kind of hard to bet against those three, huh? It's just like, come on now. It's like getting three of the best. I don't want to make this comparison, but I'm going to. It's like getting MJ, LeBron, and Kobe on one team. And you're like, oh, come on, man.
They've won a belt or two, the three of them.
Yeah, so. It's crazy. Man, let's talk about a match that I'm sure is causing tons of controversy. And this one was reported to be main eventing night one. We don't know what the main event night one is yet. However, I think me and you agree, if it ever was to main event night one, hey, they deserve it. I feel like these two have earned a right to close on WrestleMania if that's the decision to do it. And I'm talking about Charlotte Flair versus Rhea Ripley for the SmackDown Women's Championship. How you feeling about it, Greg?
I am starting to think, because I had a lot to say about this in the last couple of weeks when fans were freaking out about the idea of this being the main event and, panicking and full-blown meltdown mode and all that stuff. I'm like, well, just chill. This is going to be great for Rhea Ripley, especially if she wins the title in the main event. But I never once believed that it should be the main event, but I also didn't believe the tag match necessarily should be the main event. It just depends on what WWE wants to do. And I'm okay with the match being the main event if WWE's plan moving forward is to have the women's Rumble winner main event night one and the men's main event night two. If they book themselves into that corner, and that's what they want to do from here on out, because every Royal Rumble, they say the winner gets the main event WrestleMania. So if you really mean that, then they kind of have to main event. But if you want to leave it open and you want to put the best story or whatever in the main event, and it's still being decided within WWE internally, because if this match was going to be the main event, don't you think they would have said that during Charlotte and Rhea's previous promos?
Yeah.
So I think Dave got everybody riled up. He's had a habit of doing that in the last couple of weeks. So I think Dave, just with this suggestion, got everybody's panties all tangled up for no reason, because the more time goes by without this match being confirmed as the main event, the more I'm thinking it's going to be Owens and Zayn against the Usos in the main event. I'm feeling more and more confident about that every day. If it does turn out to be Charlotte and Rhea, I'm defending it because I'm okay with it. The only thing that's going to make me not happy is if this turns out to be a Charlotte victory. But I just don't see how you give Rhea the year she had and then have her lose to Charlotte. No way in hell. This is Brock and Cena from SummerSlam 2014. I'm hoping it's a similar match to where Rhea is dominant and imposes her will on Charlotte and gets revenge for 36. And I said a year ago, I was like, it's going to be a whole different game when these two meet up again from their previous encounters a couple of years ago. The table is set. Charlotte I think they gave her the title just to give it to Ripley, just like they gave Cena the title and that Money in the Bank just to give it to Brock. For some reason, they wanted to go away from Ronda. Charlotte's the champion now. They want the most name value in Rhea's opponent, I think, so she can beat and get over in the best way possible, beating the biggest star you kind of have in your company. That's why I think Charlotte is in this match. It's not to give her a main event WrestleMania opportunity. It's to give Rhea Ripley an opportunity. So everything, the booking, the build, Rhea Ripley's push all through 2022 is all leading to her winning the title here, whether it's the main event, opening card, night 2, night 1, or the night on Raw or at Backlash. She's going to win the title, when she faces Charlotte. So Rhea Ripley all the way. And I'm just not set on it being the main event. I don't think it's going to be.
Yeah, man. And look, I have been one of the few people, believe it or not, that has defended Charlotte for the last decade or so since she's been here in WWE NXT. And I feel like if they were to have her beat Rhea here, I wasn't happy when she beat her in 2020. I was kind of thinking that was a waste. I feel like they actually hurt Rhea's momentum when they did that.
Oh, yeah.
But over time, it was one of those things where it's like, hey, okay, well, we can get it right. And to me, the worst thing they could possibly do in terms of WrestleMania is to do all of this, have Rhea win the Rumble, get to WrestleMania, say that she is going to beat Charlotte when she should, because 3 years had passed by. She said she's gotten better. We've seen this woman pick up men, Luke Gallows, and slam him. At this point in time, for her to lose to Charlotte would just be a dumb booking decision. Doesn't matter who's in charge. Triple H, Vince. It would be asinine. So for sure, Rhea has to win. It's not even I would like to see her. No, she has to beat Charlotte. We can debate on how it happens. I would love for it to be a Brock Lesnar versus John Cena 2014 SummerSlam defeat. Probably won't be that, but I would love for her to completely run through Charlotte and win that championship.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, it's there's no booking universe that exists where it would be the right thing to do to put Charlotte over here. So it's Rhea all the way. And to me, it was just always about her. So anybody that has an issue with it being the main event, just think of it. If it bothers you that much, think of it more from Rhea Ripley's point of view and not Charlotte's. Who cares about Charlotte? Charlotte's not even the focal point here. She's, secondary. It's about Ripley making her. And after the year she had, winning the title in the main event of WrestleMania would be pretty cool for her. And so that's why I don't understand why people would let their anger for Charlotte, supersede that. Be happy for Rhea. This woman has earned this. The year she's had, the transitions, the change in her look and her gimmick and her character, and the, Judgment Day and Dominic and winning the Rumble and dealing with dickheads at the airport. Girl's had a rough year, man. She deserves to have a moment here. And I just think it's a no-brainer. But Ripley all the way, but still not sure exactly where that match is going to fall. I'm not set on it being the main event. Help me. What was the main event of night 1 last year, Alex?
Last year, oh crap. Okay, so
was it the women's match? It wasn't the women's match, was it? Or maybe it was.
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't Becky and Bianca.
No.
Help us, chat.
Help us out.
If the women's title match was not the main event last year, then I don't think it needs to be the main event this year. I wouldn't bump Usos and Sami and Zayn for that if that's not unless that's like the tradition. Oh, Austin and Owens was main event night 1. That's right. Okay. That's right. It was the main event. I don't know why I thought that was on night 2.
Right. I don't know why I thought Ronda versus Charlotte. I'm like, that doesn't sound right.
Yeah.
It was Austin versus KO. How did I forget about that? What the hell?
So that tells me even more. It does not have to be Rhea. The only reason it should be Rhea and Charlotte, in my mind, is if that's what WWE wants to do permanently from now on. And I don't think that's a good idea to book yourself into that corner, especially if you have a situation like a KO or a Stone Cold, or like this tag team title situation we have, where, you should give that match that top spot. That's kind of the way I think, is that only put that match in the main event is if it's going to be your annual tradition forever. Otherwise, no. Just have Rhea squash her in the mid card.
And what I think should be the main event is, without question, what I think is going to be one of the best tag matches at a WrestleMania. Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens versus the Usos. Real quickly, I know we are in a very, very precious time with Roman Reigns being a world champion. He is coming up close to 1,000 days. I think we're at 940. I might not be right with that, probably a few days off, but we don't give enough credit to the Usos. These Usos have had one of the best runs. I think it's somewhere over 500 as tag team champs. And I think it's because they're under Roman. We don't really talk about it enough. They have had some excellent matches with those tag team titles. And I expect this match to be no different. This should be the main event of night one. Kevin Owens said it best on SmackDown. Sammy's the MVP, in my personal opinion. He is the hottest act, and he still is when it comes to professional wrestling. That run where he took on Roman, even though we knew he was not going to win at Chamber, the reactions he was getting was attitude error levels, ridiculous. And this is going to be a very emotional match. The storyline with Jay and Jimmy, you know, Sammy joining the bloodline and then him earning their trust and then him turning on Roman and Jay being conflicted and Jimmy being conflicted. All of this is just cinema. It has been so well done. And it's one of those things where I am so happy Triple H took over because I don't think it would be this good if Vince was still in charge.
It would have been over at SummerSlam.
Oh, believe it or not, it would have never gotten this way or this close to being as good. And
Sammy would be the third member of Street Profits right now.
Oh no! You know what's sad?
With his glasses, his little red cup.
Oh God! Because Vince never saw him as a guy, and I love that a report came out. I think it was done by Fightful Select, where someone in WWE literally came out and said, "No, Sammy is one of our top guys." I would think so. So this has to end with Sammy and Kevin Owens, two people who didn't really get along for years. Such a toxic relationship, but here they're back again, winning those tag team titles and beating the Usos, because this is going to play into the main event, in my personal opinion.
It is. And that's why I think it could also go on night two. You could have this open night two and kick off night two with an amazing win for Owens and Zayn. But let me ask you this. If the Usos or Roman had to retain, which one would you prefer? Roman retaining or the Usos retaining? Which one
Roman.
would you,
I didn't have to think about it. Yeah.
Roman. Yeah. So Roman, you'd prefer over the Usos. Because one thing I feel like this table is set here for Zayn and Owens, but we maybe we're not forgetting, but the Usos have two sets of tag team titles here. So this is for the unified Raw and SmackDown titles or whatever. We've heard a lot of belt rumors lately. If they are going to produce one set of new tag team titles, I almost wish the Usos accepted those over two single stars paired together because of their longevity in the company, the amount of tag team titles they've won, you know, how they've been a team for so long, an actual tag team in the tag team division. Owens and Zayn are kind of a team, but if they're going to do some sort of ceremony where, hey, we present you with these new titles, I almost wish the Usos were able to get those just because they're a tag team. But that's just a little minor detail, and it's the only thing that would give me reservations of having them drop it here. Owens and Zayn all the way winning the title, unless you really went nuts and you had Kevin Owens turn on Zayn or something like that, which would be pretty crazy. But I don't know how you don't put Zayn and Owens over, give them that moment. The fans would go nuts. And you could put that match really anywhere on the show. It's almost too bad that Cena in theory is opening. You could open the whole damn weekend with that. Think of that pop.
Oh man, but would anything be able to follow it? Because let's not underestimate what a big.
That's why it might be good to be in the opening match instead of later. Because if let's say that match is semi-main, let's say they do go with Rhea and Charlotte, and Owens and the Usos go on first or go on right before them. Then you're in a Randy Orton and Triple H WrestleMania 25 situation after Taker and Shawn, or Triple H and Jericho after Rock and Hogan. Another good reason to put that tag match in the main event. You know, like it really should go there, I think. So,
well, in my personal opinion, when it comes to matches that I think could steal the weekend, we gotta talk about this Hell in a Cell match between
I almost forgot.
And Finn Balor. Demon Finn Balor versus Edge. Holy shit. An actual Hell in a Cell match that's worthy of Hell in a Cell. Thank you, Triple H. You are the man. This is going to be an excellent match. I haven't been the biggest fan of Judgment Day outside of Dominic. His stuff with Ray is phenomenal, but
he's the best.
Oh, man. Look here. I got to give credit where credit is due. The storyline for Judgment Day, it's been pretty, like, if you look at it, Finn Balor stole Judgment Day from Edge. Finn Balor has been, giving Edge a lot of hell. He made Edge say, I quit. He attacked his wife, eliminated him from the Rumble. They've done a pretty good job with these two. It hasn't always been consistently great, but when you think about the story, it's there, and it's actually pretty solid. And I think that's why I look at this match and I'm excited, because I think these two, first off, they're going to have an excellent match, but you see that they have good chemistry. You know it's going to be awesome. And you're seeing the Demon Finn Balor in a situation, first off, against Edge, first time ever, but in a situation where it feels right. Hell in a Cell for the Demon, Oh, dude. So the thing is, I have no idea who should win this. I was leaning towards Edge because it feels right in the Judgment Day with Edge getting the victory over Finn Balor, and then you separate everybody. I have a feeling that might not happen. They might go with Finn. They might have Finn and Edge.
I got Finn all the way.
Really? Yeah. Let me hear your logic about this one, man.
Yeah. Well, I've just felt like I like this match knowing that Finn Balor was on Edge's list when he came back of dudes he wants to work with. So this is something that Edge wants to do. I'm combining a lot of things. Balor got a lot over on Edge, the I Quit, the Rumble, and stuff like that. But Edge and Beth beat Balor and Ripley with the Shatter Machine at Elimination Chamber, right? So they kind of got theirs last month. Edge did say last year in Toronto that in a perfect world, he retires in Toronto this August. Mm-hmm. If that's still his internal plan, what good does it do to have him win a WrestleMania match here over Finn Balor? Finn Balor's coming back as the Demon. We're going to see the Demon again. I'm putting Balor here over all the way. I think that's just a good way to really establish him as the leader of Judgment Day. It gives the Demon a fresh new run that hopefully can go better than some of his other ones. He beats a mega star Hall of Famer at WrestleMania, and Edge, a guy like him with all his name value and equity, it doesn't do anything to the legacy of Edge to lose here to the Demon in his stage of his career at his age, what he's been through. And I think Edge, he does have that old school mentality. He's one of the last few, that came in that crop in like the late 90s there, that had some of that sleeping in their car, starving artist type of experience. And I think if he's going to come back and be pushed the way he was on his way out, he should be laying down for as many men as he can. Yeah. Sounds weird, but that's what he should be doing.
Pause.
And I think,
I got you.
And in a match like this, such a high profile thing, Hell in the Cell, where you could do all sorts of different kinds of finishes. You don't have to pin and beat Edge and humiliate him clean in the middle of the ring. This is a Hell in the Cell. You can do anything. You can I was at WrestleMania 15. And there was a Hell in a Cell match on that show, and it was terrible. Yeah. But what did they do? They hung Big Boss Man from that thing. So who knows what you could do in there? Do you think it's going to be red? Is there a chance Triple H could bring back the silver? Not. Do you think like Triple H is on a roll here? He's been making us happy. Is he gonna agree that the cell must stay red? It looks red in the
be old school Hell in the Cell, gray silver. It needs to be, man.
I want to see that hanging from SoFi when I get there that day. If anybody's got pics of that set, and if there's any cages hanging over the ring yet, let us know. It would be so nice to see that be a normal colored mesh silver fence. And not that Mattel toy that it is now. But I think it's just too good of an opportunity for Finn Balor. He's in his 40s as well. So, I mean, if you want to put him at the top of your roster and make him a title contender, you don't have many more years to do that. Luckily, Balor is in excellent shape. Dude could probably wrestle till he's 70 with that 8-pack he's sporting every day. So I think he's athletically, physically fine, and he's such a good worker. It's been such a good year for him too, like Rhea. And the match you're going to bring up in a minute, I'm sure, Ray and Dominic, I think they're setting the table here for everybody in Judgment Day to have a great day except for Dominic. And it might be a way to have Judgment Day kiss. I mean, at some point, Rhea Ripley's going to have to get tired of cutting up that boy's chicken tenders. Yep. And
my God.
they're gonna do something there, and Ray is going to have to come to the rescue of his son, to his broken and humiliated and defeated son at some point after they do their match. So I think Judgment Day is Priest in Friday's Battle Royal. Maybe have Damian Priest win the Battle Royal. Rhea beats Charlotte. Balor beats Edge, and Dom gets his ass kicked by his daddy. That's what I do. So I'm going Finn Balor. He's going to be the Demon now, apparently. So if he's coming back as the Demon, I'd hate to bring the Demon back for one night just to lose to Edge.
Oh, that's right.
Be cool if you get a Brood Edge entrance and a Demon Balor entrance combination. That would be pretty badass. But I think the table's set for Finn. That's just, if I'm booking, that's what I get the most value out of, is a Balor victory. Edge might leave and go to AEW and go team up with Christian.
I think you made the most sense when you just said that Edge can take this loss and it wouldn't hurt him. Finn would take a loss as the Demon. That might be detrimental. So you're absolutely right. I'm going to go with Finn too. I think that just works for everybody involved. And it's still going to be a great match regardless. You know what I mean?
Maybe regular Finn, you could put Edge over. But I mean, Edge even he wanted this, didn't he? Didn't he ask for it last week?
Yes.
I want the demon. And
Mhm.
so then Edge, he's been pretty honest with himself. Hey, Judgment Day is better without me. He could also come out and say, I was an idiot for calling out the demon. So I got what I asked for on that one. So he'll be fine. Edge is Edge. We all love Edge. It doesn't matter. He can lose every match and I'll love him just the same.
Man, we go from that to what is easily, this is my personal opinion, this might be the best built match when it comes to WrestleMania this weekend.
Look how handsome Dominic is. What a devil. What a handsome
Oh,
devil.
God.
I love
He's
that
got
kid.
a little bit
I
of
love that
everybody.
kid.
Yeah, he's got a little bit of Eddie in him. You can see that Latino goatee growing in with the hair. I like it, man. It's
Eddie Ray. He's got Eddie Ray and Conan all going. It's great.
Oh, I love it.
And a little bit of Art Barr too. He's got everybody.
I see Art Barr in there a little bit too. I didn't think about it. Man, look here. I think this is going to be easily one of the matches of the weekend. The story has been so goddamn simple, right? Matter of fact, you can correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't this similar to Brett versus Owen? In a way, he didn't want to hit his brother, and then he was forced to fight his brother at WrestleMania.
Taker and Kane too. Taker didn't want to do it until he was engulfed in flames in the casket. Although those are kayfabe brothers. This is real family here, but yeah, it is kind of the same story because the older brother didn't want to have to do that. Just like Ray is, it's going to take something major to get to him to agree to fight his son. I thought Dominic was just going to attack him at the Hall of Fame. And then Ray would pull himself up to the podium and say, okay, you asked for it. I'll see you tomorrow. But once he got in Angie's face last week, you knew that was going to be it.
Oh, he did the worst thing possible. He told his mama to shut up. I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Never do that. Ever.
I have no doubt that Ray would probably want to put over his son here in some way. But this story, Ray has got to whoop this boy's ass, I think. So I'm kind of going with Ray. Here, I think he should win, but some people, I don't think I'm in the majority there. A lot of people think Dominic's taking this.
Well, again, a lot of people are comparing it to Brett and Owen beat Brett at WrestleMania, right? So I guess from that logic, you would have Dom get the victory, and imagine the heat he would get if he beat Ray for that. You could put any championship on him, and he would make that title mean something. But who's to say you still can't do that? Personally, I'm right there with you. This is going to be such a satisfying moment to see Ray finally shut his son up, hit him with that 619 and pin a 1, 2, 3. That crowd is going to come unglued whatever night this is on. So, I don't got much else to say.
This is going to be probably a program though. So they're not going to be one and done here. I don't think. I mean, unless this whole story, after how long they've taken to tell this story, you don't just end it in one match. They're going to wrestle at Backlash or probably in Puerto Rico or somewhere. Or Crown Jewel, King of the Ring, whatever. I think they're going to have a return here of some kind. So it's just and so both guys will get a win in it. I think Ray at some point will put over Dominic. When is that going to happen? Here at WrestleMania, where Dominic, resorts to even more cheating to where it forces Ray to now fight his son with a stip. Okay, if you're not going to play by the rules, we're going to enclose ourselves in some gimmick match, and then Ray gets the victory there. So, kind of what order do you want to do it in? What's better? I feel for the story, the fans really want to see Ray put a whooping on his son, and then maybe Dominic asks for a return, and then Dominic gets another victory down the line. But I think it might also tie in at some point to a Dominic and Rhea split, depending on how this whole situation goes. So I can kind of go either way on it, but I want to see Ray. I want to see Ray win.
Look here, man. I am expecting this match to definitely be a memorable one. I see a lot of people in the live chat bringing up the fact that Stephanie slapped her mom. That was a moment that we like to forget. A lot of people have forgotten about. I haven't. I remember it all too well. I do not see that happening nowadays. I do not see it ever going that far with anyone, especially if it's a woman. I just don't see it. And it'd be great heat for sure, but nah. I don't even think that would be allowed now. Is that even something that's even allowed on any other show? You know what I mean?
What do you mean? Like Ray or Dominic slapping his mom? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, Dom slapping his mom. That's what people are suggesting.
They could probably get away with that. I think so. If he does it at the Hall of Fame or something, I don't know, or maybe at WrestleMania. Is Angie and Aaliyah going to be there at ringside to watch this match? Is Angie going to be in a wheelchair, and is Dominic going to make out with Rhea Ripley right in front of her or something like that, or whatever Shane and Vince did? Remember?
That'd be fucking crazy.
Could be Shane and Vince McMahon was an entertaining match, and it shouldn't have been. And so Dominic and Bray, I have full confidence in them that they're going to do some really fun stuff here. And it just depends on how far Dominic can push Ray to, you think Ray's still going to have a little bit of hesitation in the match. He's not going to be able to want to rip this kid's head off. He's just going to want to do as minimal damage, I would think, as possible, which will give Dominic the advantage in that whole match. We'll just have to see. It depends on Ray. It's all up to him.
Yeah, I'm expecting a great match.
All up to Dad.
Yeah, let's go ahead and get this one out the way. This is the other showcase Fatal 4-Way tag match. This time for the women. We got Shayna Baszler and Ronda Rousey. Hopefully she'll be healthy to actually wrestle. I'm going to assume that the final tag team is Chelsea Green and Carmella. That was reported by, I think it's WrestleVotes. I'm not sure if Carmella is cleared to wrestle. She probably suffered an injury, so she'll probably be replaced. Keep that in mind. But the other two tag teams are already confirmed. Natalya, Shotzi, and then Liv and Raquel. I mean, layup, Ronda, right? It's Ronda Rousey. I don't even think this is worth discussing, quite frankly.
Yeah, Ronda and Shayna. That's a shame about Carmella that she's hurt, because I think Carmella and Chelsea are made for each other. And I think they can be so much better than the Iconics. Like, if you put them together as a team, I'd belt the two of them. I love them together. But if Carmella's hurt, they can't even be a part of this thing, so it doesn't matter. And how do any of these women beat Shayna and Ronda anyway? So, yeah, Ronda all the way.
And quite frankly, I don't think we need to say anything else about that one.
Yeah.
And we're starting to wind down with the last three matches. Let's go ahead and get I think this is the final women's match on this card. A match that I think the match itself is going to be awesome. I have not liked the build to this. I don't know how you feel about it.
I'm disappointed, because I feel like I should care way more about both of these women's matches, because on paper they're great. And if they would have had a proper build, they would be even better. Again, for me this weekend, it's all about Rhea Ripley. And I think if Rhea Ripley is to win the title on night one, I don't think you need to deal with two new women's champions. I think it needs to be focusing on Rhea. There's not enough story here in my mind with Bianca and Asuka to justify a title change after the dominant year Bianca has had. You've got a good opportunity here, since Bianca really isn't in a super high profile match. She's in a title match, but it's just not getting on the marquee the attention because of the lack of build and stuff. So just keep her rolling. She can retain again at WrestleMania. She'll win and retain. She's won twice, and she'll retain one. Extend her run beyond a year. Give her some records and some accolades and feathers in the cap. And then if you want to keep this issue going, ramp up the build, do the Asuka title win later. Do it at the next pay-per-view. Because again, this could be a program, not just a one match. So with Bianca, I'm keeping her rolling. I don't see any reason to take the belt off of her here. If Rhea had just became the champion the night before, I would just keep her rolling. And then you've got, Rhea and Bianca can be your Cena and Orton, of this new generation and of the women's division. Bianca all the way. I'm going with Bianca.
So remember how I said Seth Rollins hasn't won a match at WrestleMania since 2019? Asuka has never won a match at WrestleMania. I believe that
she ain't gonna this year either.
Oh, come on. In all seriousness, it's fine. I think this is the year. I think Triple H being in charge, one of his favorite people on NXT, without question, one of the best talents to come out of NXT has been Asuka. She's had a revamp in her character. She has a new look. What a way to put it over than by ending the long 1-year reign of Bianca Belair. I think this is the day to do it. And honestly, I would love it. This is me speculating and fantasy booking. I would love it if Asuka beat Bianca, Bianca turns heel, and we revisit this at a later date. And maybe you want to give her the belt back, go for it. I would love to see a more vicious Bianca, because I'm kind of over the bubblegum poppy, happy-go-lucky, smiley Bianca. I'm not feeling it. I'm ready for the attitude to come back. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I've spoken many times that I am longing and yearning for the day when Bianca decides to start becoming a killer, because when she wants, if you add a mean streak to this girl, then you're looking at Rhea Ripley. I mean, you have another one of them, so
Yeah.
she cuts that braid off, she gets a little bit more vicious and hardcore, but you also have to look at it from WWE's marketing perspective. She is great for those little girls. They have to play that music and play it to death. And she's got to twirl the hair and the lips have got to fly at the screen. I don't think they're done with that yet. I think they need to wrap it up soon. Don't give me more than another year of this.
Yeah.
And because then, it could be a problem, but Bayley did an excellent job with that transition. I think Bianca can do it even better. I just don't think WWE's ready to do that yet. Everything you said about Asuka is perfect. You do have a new look and this new attitude that usually signifies you're not going to beat this person right away.
Right.
But I also think just with what the bigger story with Rhea Ripley is, I kind of want that weekend to be more about her. Not that it's against the rules to have two new women's champions, especially if Triple H is going to do some brand new belt presentation. Again, Bianca is the one that's been carrying that belt. She should be able to receive the new one in my mind. And I'm still just going with Bianca. Like, it all makes sense. Asuka hasn't won at WrestleMania yet. She does have kind of a new look and a new attitude, and it would be a good way to give her this moment, give her a title, and you can still continue the angle with Bianca. I just don't think a Bianca heel turn is in WWE's immediate future, but it's got to be in their future because she'll be so good. She'll be so good. Get her and Montez, like Becky and Seth, kind of have their like obnoxious thing together. Get Montez and Bianca doing that. That would be amazing, especially if they were cocky heels with all the gold or something. Oh my God, they'd be so good. They'd be so good. I just don't think WWE's ready to stop with the merch and everything that Bianca brings to that part of their audience. It's too much money right now, but they'll get there. They'll get there. It's Triple H. It's not Vince. So luckily they won't John Cena Bianca. She won't be doing this for the next 10 years because look, they fixed Roman. They were right there to start doing the same thing with Roman that they did with Cena, but luckily they thought better of it and finally turned him heel. They'll do it with her.
Right.
We just have to be patient, but they got to get there.
And with that, we have made it to the end with the main event of WrestleMania 39, the big one. Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns, WWE Championship, Universal World Championship on the line. Two of the belts. I just saw the report that Triple H will be introducing, just approved a new look for the world title. I am praying it looks similar to the Wingo belt. I don't know if it will, but it's going to be a very, very special ordeal when it comes to this.
Who said that? That was Louis?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Fucking Louis.
And usually he gets his sources.
So Triple H approved a belt design, but does that mean, because I think his tweet said something about like it could essentially debut right away. So that implies it's made. So they just make these whole. I thought they would just draw it up and say, "Here, Triple H, what do you think of the sketch? Looks good. Make it." I don't know. Are they actually making these belts and bringing them to him? And he's like, "No, fuck that. Okay, we'll go make another one." So I don't know how true that is, but I would love for it to be true, and I really, really, really hope it's true.
Man, and so I gotta ask you, man. Look, Roman Reigns, he is coming up to 1,000 days. This is easily one of the best championship runs in WWE's history. The last person to hold the belt this longer is Hulk Hogan. We're talking about 80s Hulk Hogan. For the last 3 years, Roman has been a strong feature on our television sets. And we're talking about a reign. Once you have him lose, because he hasn't been defeated since 2019, you cannot replicate this. You can't put the belt back on him and try again at SummerSlam. No. When he loses, that's it. Whoever he loses to will be the next face. And so the question to you, Greg, is Cody Rhodes that guy?
Yeah, because who else is it going to be at this point? I think Cody Rhodes, his little interactions with John Cena a couple weeks ago was really telling to me too. It's like, it's almost like he's going to be Cena. He's going to be Cena. And it's just a matter of how long it takes for the fans to really grow tired of it. I'm totally on board with Cody. I have an unreasonable and love for him that I can't explain, that I never felt when he was in AEW. I really like what he's doing, but that's going to wear off. So it just depends on how long that takes. But when you think about, a babyface to represent the company, person to go on Kimmel and Fallon and do all that promotional work, Cody is all about that. And he loves it, lives for it, wants to do it, would accept all of it and more. And I think that's the exact type of guy, personality and that you want out there representing the company as your champion. Roman does a great job of that too, but Roman's also been champion forever. So if you're going to go with somebody else, not that Owens couldn't do it or Zayn couldn't do it or Rollins couldn't do it, all those guys are great. But if you're going to go with Cody, this is when he's going to be as hottest and most popular in the WWE is probably right now. Everything's going to be downhill at some point for him, I would think. So I think you get the best reaction. I think most fans would be happy if you have him win here. And and again, much like Rhea Ripley and Charlotte, it's maybe not as definitive and predictable as that, but it really does feel like they're really setting up the bloodline for a crumbling at WrestleMania. And to swerve us and to have and do what they did at WrestleMania 34. Everybody thought Roman was beating Brock, and Brock killed the poor man. And everybody couldn't believe it. They were so mad. They were mad that Roman was kicking out of too many F5s. That's how mad they were. They didn't know how mad they were supposed to be. They were just mad. So I think if they were to do that here and have Roman beat Cody, it would make sense in the storyline because Roman beats everybody and he's beaten far tougher than Cody during his 2 years here. But when you combine the Usos and the bloodline and everything that's been going on with them, the cracks in the foundation, you can book a finish to where Cody can beat Roman, but a lot of it is due to how Roman got rattled by the unraveling of his bloodline, what it did to him mentally, and Cody was able to outsmart him and outwit him and beat him at his own game almost type of thing.
Yeah.
And that's just what I would do. But there's a big majority out there that thinks Roman should retain and he should retain here. And I could understand that, but I just think so much of that bloodline stuff is, surrounding him right now. It feels like they're really setting up a loss unless this is the swerve of all swerves and the Usos and the Roman Reigns close the show with all the belts again. I think there's more story to tell, freshens things up. If Cody wins, all sorts of new opponents, that might even usher in us having 2 titles again. So we're going to go from essentially having no championships because Roman holds them both hostage to having 2 now, 1 on each show. And Cody could be the one to get that done because, if Roman wins, what do? Triple H comes out and says, well, you beat everybody, so we're just going to take one of these titles away from you. That's no fun. It's do a title change. At least we have a title change in a moment. Because even last year was a title change, but Roman was already champion. So it wasn't even the same. I feel like we're overdue for a moment like that. And new direction, fresh set of opponents, fresh champion, fresh storylines, new Triple H era, new championship belts. Cody can all be part of that. And so I'm going Cody.
And you know what? All that makes sense. And I guess for me, the reason why I'm not as on board with it is because the build to this match, they've only had 4 weeks to build to it. Although he won the Rumble, January. So they had 2 months, which is still not a lot of time, but they didn't really do a lot for me to feel like, I gotta have Cody. I need to see Cody beat Roman. If Cody was to lose to Roman, I'm not going to lose sleep over it, if I'm being honest with you. But with that said, you made a lot of sense when it comes to the bloodline. The story that they're telling is that the bloodline is unraveling. And I think Jey Uso especially that's the odd one out. That's the wild card. And how awesome would it be if we got one more person hit Roman Reigns in the back with a steel chair? First it was Seth, then it was Sammy, and then it's Jey. And then when Jey does it, that takes Roman off of the throne because that helps Cody get the championship. And if we're going to give Cody the belt, that's the way I would go about it. But if you do that, that ends the bloodline storyline. I don't know if I'm ready for that yet. Because we can do more with them. Roman can go after Jey and do more in the Descent to Madness. Maybe we can do a match between them in SummerSlam. But essentially, that's going to end the bloodline storyline. Is that something we're ready for? I don't know.
I think you don't have to. I think you can accomplish the same thing without necessarily having to do a chair shot. There's so much emotion and story here that I think a simple look or a turn of the back when Roman says, when the referee takes a bump, Jey, go get me a chair or whatever. And Jay's like, no, come on. Answer your tribal chief. And he's yelling at Jey, focused on Jey. And Jey just looks at him and turns and walks away type of thing. And Roman's like, what the hell? And then Cody from behind, boom, crossroads, trifecta, and pins Roman, all because of the betrayal. from Jay. I think he could be so maybe shocked by that. So you might not necessarily need to do a chair shot, because then it's definitely over. Bloodline's over, where now Jay costing Roman the belt due to disobedience or whatever, Roman's going to really be pissed about that. So I think you could kind of do it that way too. That's the way I envisioned it, is of Jay just kind of not cooperating, not necessarily maybe turning on Roman. Depends on how much Roman abuses him during WrestleMania in the backstage segments. It depends on how they set those up. If Roman's a complete dick, then we might get a chair shot, maybe not to the back, to the face of Roman Reigns. But Jay, you're right. He's the wild card. He's going to have to play a role, whether physically or not, in the main event. Whether he's out there not doing what Roman's telling him to do, or if he gets full blown physical and actually nails Roman and helps Cody Rhodes win. I'm trusting that they put together some really fun finish that we get that's similar to maybe Mania 31, where we got the Seth cash in. We were all just really happy and, I didn't see that coming, or that really made WrestleMania worth it type of thing. And I think you can do a Cody win and have it be great for everyone. But I can't. Roman winning, man. Geez, what are they going to put him to then? He'll be 3 years for Universal this SummerSlam. That's crazy.
But the thing is, man, like, even reports have said, don't know if it's true or not, but WWE is still undecided on who should win 2 weeks out. I had to think about that as a knock on Cody, because if Cody was the dude, they would already know.
Yeah, if I'm Triple H, I'm knowing already. So, but maybe he doesn't.
Then again, it could all just be red herring.
Yeah.
They could just have told them that just to kind of throw us off.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, I've felt like Triple H has had his act together a few times, and I've been wrong. And I thought they had everything figured out with Bray Wyatt, and whatever they were going to do with this story, it was going to be worth the wait, when everybody was complaining about, what's taking so long? I'm like, just chill. I think they got a plan. They had no plan. So Triple H, if we hear these stories about, they don't know, to me, that sounds like bullshit. I'm like, no, they know who they're putting over, but maybe they don't. It is possible that they actually do not know. That scares me. I don't want them to decide this on Friday. You need to already kind of know what you're going to do, unless they just have two sets of plans and they just have to decide what plan to go with. But you got to have your ducks in a row by now, man. Shows in 4 days. If I'm Cody, I would like to be told by now if I'm going to be champion or not.
Exactly.
I'd be Triple H on Triple H's door. Hey, boss. So am I going to be champ or what? Like, what the hell? Can you let me know so I can kind of plan my life? So I know what the hell I'm going to be doing. Like, I kind of like to know these things. And plus, I've got that old championship belt that, I own now from the 70s. I could bring it to TV. Cody could bring that belt out, that belt that he owns that his dad never won, and bring it out and show it off. Triple H bringing back the winged eagle. Oh, my God, all these possibilities. There's so many possibilities with Cody winning. That's why I'm ready for freshness.
Yeah.
And
you know what, man? Honestly, Cody did all of this with AEW when he left after going through Stardust, started his own promotion, got over, and then came back. I won't say it won't go to waste, but if you want to capitalize on all of that, WrestleMania is the time to do it, because that would be such an awesome one. And not just because he wins the belt for Dusty, which is the story. He's winning it for Dusty. No, he's doing it for him because of all the shit that he had to do to get to this point.
Yeah.
And imagine if you're ever going to get AEW wrestlers to come to WWE, you want to get it right with Cody. That would be the first thing you get. That's the first person you get it right with. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And I've actually kind of liked the simplicity of the story. It doesn't necessarily have to be a story. The story is that Cody won the Rumble. So he is a professional wrestler going after professional wrestling championship. That's all it is. And he said as much in one of those first promos. I'm just a wrestler trying to win a championship here. That's it. And you made it personal, so they tried to sew some stuff in to get it as personal as they can while still keeping it old school. I like that there's been no physicality. I like that. I've no problem with them not punching each other yet. They've even done a handshake. There's some sort of, there's animosity, but a mutual respect at the same time. The story with their families is fun to think about when you think about, who their dads are and all the travels they've had, and Paul Heyman being tied in right in the middle.
Yeah.
And Cody told that story about the ECW, which did hit some personal nerves for a lot of people, and was like, wow, I wasn't expecting that. And that was really, really good. And for me, I don't need much more than that. Not every match needs to have the Owens and Zayn and Usos story. You can still have, stories that mean less. Rhea and Charlotte have not been able to accomplish what Cody and Roman have. It's been much more interesting with Cody. I don't know what's missing in Rhea and Charlotte, but maybe they're not given the time or the creative thought that Cody and Roman are, but there really should be no excuse for that build not being good, considering who the two of them are. But I like what Cody and Roman have done because it's not overthought or overcomplicated. It's simple. Cody won the Rumble and he's coming after that title and he's going to do what he can to make his daddy and himself and his whole family proud and the fans. Full circle moment 1 year after that crazy debut last year. There's a lot of good. This is all I'm speaking from this is from the perspective of a huge Roman Reigns fan. As far as I'm concerned, that guy can hold the title for 10 years for all I'm concerned. I don't care. I just think that if you want to have somebody new be a new world champion in your company, new top guy, you've got your opportunity right here. Might as well make one. They're dropping off. Cena's going away. Roman's going to be more and more part-time with each passing year. Seth is no spring chicken anymore. I don't know if they're ever going to pull the trigger on Kevin Owens. They might belt up Logan Paul one day, but and
Let's calm down.
Austin Theory and Montez Ford are going to be big parts of their future, but they need veterans and stars and, world champions to work with. And Cody's right there. Cody has all the qualifications, like running for president almost. Like Cody's got all the qualifications. Yeah. There's nothing about Cody's ring ability, his understanding of the business, this respect that he has from his peers, his family, his bloodline, how he's kind of been ingrained in it his whole life, how he understands it, what he knows his job is and how he needs to do his job. He knows how to do all of that. If I'm Triple H or WWE management, I have full trust in Cody Rhodes being able to manage that top spot and that pressure. He can definitely do it.
And I agree with you. I think this is the moment for Cody to become the guy. And you know what? We're going to see how it works. We won't know until he's given that spot. You just don't know. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And what I do know is that this was an goddamn awesome live to talk about WrestleMania. Thank you so much.
Yeah, we ran through that whole card and you gave me a lot of practice because I have my prediction videos on my channel coming up on Thursday. And so I needed to think about this. So now I'll probably change some of my predictions to be a total butthole, but I'm gonna base a lot of it off of this.
So how you feeling now after talking about WrestleMania? Did your excitement level go up or is it still 6.5?
It did, because when you think about some of the things they can do, and that's always what gets me excited. Hopefully it just doesn't get me too excited. Many, many years ago, I thought Brock and Dean Ambrose were going to tear the house down at WrestleMania 32. I had all these predictions of the stuff they were going to do and how it was going to steal the show. And Ambrose was going to get the win of a lifetime. And he's going to pin Brock underneath a forklift like Mankind did to The Rock at Halftime Heat. I had all of these ideas, and it was one of the worst matches we've ever seen. So all of my ideas, I could definitely be disappointed, but the things they can do in Roman and Cody, the things they can do in Dominic and Ray and Edge and Balor, and so many of these matches, and Brock and Omas even could surprise us. So, but that's all best case scenario. I'm still looking forward to the show. I said that if I wasn't going to the show, the lineup of the card, I'd give it a 6.5. Let's raise it to a 7.5 now. We're up a point.
That's where I am. So we're right there in terms of excitement. So, yo, thank you so much for being here. Tell them where to find you at, man, on social media and YouTube.
On the GoodMicWork Commentaries YouTube channel. You can find me there. I'm also on Twitter at GoodMicWork. I'm on Instagram as well. I've got a Patreon page, and I've been on YouTube for the better part of 12 years now, going on 13 years, doing commentaries, podcasts. I do watch-alongs and reactions, all sorts of stuff on the channel. It's fun. We have a good time over there, so please check me out.
And for the rest of y'all, please be sure to like the video, subscribe, and click that bell to catch all the content when it comes out. Follow us on social media. I'm also on Facebook, Twitter. You already know this. Most of y'all watch me, follow me anyways. And I guarantee you, a lot of people watch me also follow you. So all the new people, please check out GoodMicWork's podcast because he'll be doing his own predictions again this week.
Our audiences definitely overlap. I know that most people know me, know you, so that's cool. This is probably a long time coming for a lot of the listeners to finally see us on a Mega Powers. That means we have to explode next year.
Oh God!
Let's try not to explode. I'll be back. You'll see me again. I'll come on this channel and do stuff with you. It'll be fun.
Let's go. We gotta bring you back. It'll be so cool. Maybe we could do a round table with you, Solid Monster, JD. Oh God, that would break the internet. You just never know.
A whole bunch of little squares on the screen here. Yeah, that would be fun.
Sean Rod
yeah.
Sapp and Denise over here. Nah, I'm just,
Yeah.
we'll have to work that out. Yo, thank y'all so much for being here. And thank you so much for being here, Greg. We're going to go ahead and get out of here. We'll catch you guys next time right here in Alyx's world. Anything else you want to say before we go?
That's it, man. Thanks for having me on. It was a blast. Enjoy Raw tonight. I think you're doing a review too, so you got a busy night. So enjoy that. I'm just going to sit back and be lazy and tweet about it. So y'all have a good one.
Hey, welcome. And once again, this is a safe space for wrestling fans like you guys. We out of here. Peace.